Back again. Sorry about that. A lot of technical difficulties early, past midnight when it comes to fucking Xfinity. They want to keep dropping. I guess I pay them just enough to keep it on during the main hours, but when it comes to after midnight, fucking drop like a rock. Um, let's go ahead and go on to let's do the Detroit Lions again. I'll just delete that first part two, and we'll run with this one. You mentioned the defensive tackle Chris Slayton, um, which I think is a good pick. I mentioned Jackson Pittman, who's actually buried behind Chris Slayton and Sean Robinson, who's got great power moves and great strength. And even Chris Slayton has the good strength and good play recognition, power moves. He's got good pursuit and he's got great block shedding, so he's a great option for a run stuffer. You were talking about Valdez Scantling when it came to the Green Bay Packers as your wasted talent. Go ahead and go on about him again.
Yeah, just because for having the size, speed, and the catching, all that stats he has, he definitely should be a top receiver in the league. Just someone like he reminds me a lot of like Robbie Anderson on the Ravens. How he could easily be Robbie Anderson. He has a similar size, similar speed. Maybe not as good at catching stats, but he could easily have devved him. He's 26 now, so not as much. And I think he's kind of
Yeah, he's got great size, great speed. I mean, he's been using him this season. Uh, I want to see. I don't know if he's cooled down. No, he's still using him. I think he's been trying to lower his his yards per catch. And I don't think he's been playing recently too, so he's going to become more useless when the computer's using him. Um, Let me take a look at somebody else here. If there's anybody else that could really be on that.
I had a safety. I also had safety Brenton Nelson. He's a rookie and 88 speed, 92 XL, 76 zone. That ain't man. Pretty solid. He's not really getting any time behind Ha Clinton Dix and Jaquan Johnson for their safeties, but he could definitely be a solid young DB on another team.
Yeah, for sure. That's one. I actually Green Bay was actually one of the teams I talked about trading for Najee Harris because he likes his power backs, and you know Jay Ajayi came out again. I can't. Tonight's just a mess so far. Um, but Green Bay likes his power backs. Jay Ajayi's getting older. He's more injury prone. Um, I think Najee Harris would be a great pickup for him. Maybe it's somebody that would keep him more involved because I think he was dealing with finals, so this season's kind of a loss for him. Let's move on to the Chicago Bears, our favorite user, Shades.
I think there's a few guys like depending on the way you want to go with this. If you want to be like, I think one guy, a pretty obvious choice would be Khalil Mack, just because he hasn't put up nearly the numbers he should be. He could easily be a 20 plus sack guy a year, and he hasn't even put up double digits under Shades. So, um, that's like the easy answer. But I'm gonna say who do I have? I had Tariq Cohen. Uh, just because he's another one of those guys who are a physical freak at running back. 92 speed, 92 excel, 96 agility, 94 juke, 89 looseness, 86 spin move. Dude is a freak, and he just even though he does get used, he just isn't really put in numbers that he could be. He's a really similar comp to TBJ. Again, just not as fast, but if he was on the right team, he could easily be an MVP candidate.
Yeah, he's got great speed and everything. I'm actually gonna go with Brandon Wimbush. He's used, but I think in a different system he'd be better than he is now. He's in his second year with a superstar development. I think 75 is a big swing and a miss. I think in a different team he'd be a lot higher, but given the user, no fault of his own, just he's just not developing as much as he should be.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
let's take a look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
For the Bucks, I had Jeffrey Simmons. Um, Again, the Bucks is a really good user, so he doesn't have a ton of players that are not being used. But Jeffrey Simmons actually was pretty glaring to me, just because he's still really young. This is only his second year, and he's not getting any playing time. 5 downs this week, or yeah, 5 downs this week, 7 downs the week before. Week before that, he played 43. But if you look at his stats for a second year player, quick dev, 92 strength, 91 block shed, 84 power move, he could be a problem, especially for someone who is such a good user. He just not putting up the numbers that, and I don't really know why, to be honest.
Yeah, I think with the addition of Vit Villa and Jarrell Casey, maybe that's a big reason, but that's a great pick. I know he uses a lot of content to build up Jeffrey Simmons, so that's probably why he's trying to move Vit Villa to get room for Jeffrey Simmons to really get involved into the offense. I mean the defense. Um, but he's great. 91 block shed, 84 power move. The hit power is good as well. Great tackling. Um, he's a good little piece. If he's able to ever move Vit Villa, trade him to the Patriots, I'd take him all day. But if he's able to move Vit Villa, he's gonna be a great replacement for him. Another one is Teron Vincent, who he also tries to build, and he's got pretty good raw stats as well. Um, Definitely another piece that he could build if he really wanted to. He's pretty stacked at defensive tackle as far as talent. Uh,
Definitely.
let's go ahead and take a look at the Carolina Panthers.
The Panthers. I had for wasted um Janarius Robinson. I don't even know what position he plays.
He's a left end. I'm on him right now. That's the one guy that was glaring to me. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, he's not used at
Yeah.
all.
Again, just another physical freak guy who and 88 hit power too. That he honestly, if he had a little better stats, he'd be like a good comp for like a Clowney even, but he doesn't have nearly enough stats. But um, it's not like he's stacked at the end either. He has Agba, he's a really solid player, but Yusa Karari, I don't know who the hell that is. He has star dev, so he is pretty good. But Janarius Robinson, maybe moved outside linebacker. He could he'd be real good.
Yeah, he's another, like you said, freak athlete. Um, he's got decent stats. Could use a little more on the pass rushing moves, but he's got great pursuit. alright block shedding. Another one behind him is Jason Owen, but he's another one where he does all the draft classes, so he kind of could find those gems. I don't think he abuses his knowledge of it, but I think he finds certain gems, a little more project pieces than the polished guy that comes out of the draft.
I think his big thing is like he's not gonna like someone like who did there was a bunch of wide receivers, but there was the one guy who nobody really saw coming. It might have even been it wasn't. I don't remember. I don't care. But like there's guys who go later who are really solid. So I know his big thing is he's not gonna just stay away from not draft them, but he's not gonna draft somebody who's a huge steal in the first just
Yeah,
because he knows they're a stud. He'll draft them if it's projected third round and they're in third round. He's gonna draft them, and that's fair. That's more than fair.
yeah, and he does a great job of controlling himself because I don't even know if I would control myself in that slot, no one having the knowledge. Another position where he has a lot of guys is safety. He's drafted about four rookies, and they're all very athletic and could definitely be game changers in the back end. So somebody like Brendan Radley Hiles, I don't think he's used as much. He's got 86 hit power, pretty good coverage skills, 90 speed at the strong safety, and then he's got the free safety, the CJ Morgan or Stud Still, both athletic safeties, pretty good coverage for raw talent, and then have the good pursuit and hit power. So those are a couple other guys. Let's go ahead and move on to the. I hope my first video is not corrupted.
I just saw that.
Well, let's move on to the Falcons.
Alright. I
And
had.
there's a
But
pretty
wait,
easy pick.
I did. Was it pretty easy? Alright, let's see. Maybe I'm just missing it. I did Trey Smith. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm just.
I think Trey Smithy plays.
Maybe I don't know. Um, no, I don't think so. Trey. Well, maybe he has to. There's no way he doesn't play. It doesn't say. It doesn't say. I don't know.
I was gonna go with KJ Costello, the guy behind Matt Ryan. 96 throw power. He's a star development with good short and medium accuracy. His deep accuracy is alright at 79. Good play action. He's not very athletic. Maybe that's why he doesn't like him, but he's a great piece. I think he would be able to be a starter on a separate team. And he's in his second year. So I think if he was on somebody else's team that would use him, I think he'd be close to like a mid 80s, low 80s in development right now. But since he's been behind Matt Ryan, I don't think he's been able to really develop.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah, that's,
Y-
good. That's the pick there for sure.
Yeah, I think he might be making a change soon, but he's definitely somebody you should use more of. Let's move on to the Saints, last but not least.
I had Trey McSorley. So obviously he just traded for Aaron Rodgers, so um he's gonna be the starter for at least until he retires. But Trace McSorley has really solid stats. Um, 94 throw power, 82 deep, 84 mid, 83 short, and then 89 throwing the run, 86 throwing the pressure. Really, really solid. 79 speed too, so he's somewhat mobile. Um, Yeah, I don't know why he just moved on from Trace McSorley. I guess he just wasn't playing well, and he just jumped on that trade for Aaron Rodgers, and I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers, so
Yeah,
I don't know
exactly.
if
You
I can
can.
blame him.
Yeah, you can't blame him. But McSorley should be used a lot more. Trying to think if there's anybody else. I mean, he does have the 97 speed running back, and Lorenzo Lingard. I don't think he uses him enough. Uh,
I said Shelton Gibson too, just because 94
mhm.
speed, 93 agility
I was
with
just looking at him as well.
yeah. But I
He
don't know.
he
Has Saints been playing lately?
yeah, he was another one down with finals, but I know
Yeah,
he's played some games. Um, Maybe Elise Mack is another one. I mean, he uses them, but I think in a different with a different user, he would he would be used even more and have better stats in a different system.
definitely.
With that 88 speed, I mean the acceleration and agility is pretty ugly, but he has good catching ability. Um, yeah, he seems like a overall solid tight end, and I think in a different system he'd be going off with that athletic ability.
Yeah.
I think yeah, that's the only one that I could think of other than McSwirly. He also has Jos Josiah Scott, very athletic corner.
Yeah. Von Bell, I guess too. Does he? Yeah, Von Bell is kind of he's pretty athletic for a safety, and then 83 overall, not bad. 85 zone. He could probably get something for Von Bell, but
Oh
he kind
yeah,
of just. I
and he
bet
just
he's
made
kind of
the
probably
trade for
playing.
Justin Simmons.
Yeah. I haven't played him in a while, so I bet he plays a lot in like big nickel formations.
Yeah,
That's kind of what I did honestly. And for with when I had Amos and I had Poyer and Hyde, and
yeah.
honestly, it worked really well. So it's not the worst idea to have a third safety.
Oh, not at all. But yeah, that's gonna do it for the wasted talent scenario. Let's do a quick little team dive into the Bills. Um, just talk about your offense, how you like to build it, and then go on to your defense. Like some people like to build offensive line out. Some people like to build with talent on the outside, then worry about the offensive line last. How do you like to build your offense?
Um, I definitely go for the skill positions: running back, receivers, quarterback. Um, like I I mean, as you know, I'm sure most league knows. I definitely like to throw the ball more. I'm like pretty much like an air raid offense, honestly, just because that's what's fun to me. Um, I just rather play like that and lose, honestly. Just it sounds stupid, but it is what it is. That's why like, I had Debo when I had who did I have before this? I don't remember our year season when Kelvin. I had Zay Jones. I had a bunch of bums, but
Yep.
now I feel like I've done a pretty good job, Devin. What I've got, Debo Samuel is absolute beast. Um, Jarvis Landry is still really solid, and then Van Jefferson coming out this year, blowing it up. Um, he's been like a secret weapon. Kareem Hunt when he was in was huge, but he's been out almost all season. And then of course Josh Allen, who is up and down. I mean, as I'm up and down, he basically if Josh Allen plays well, the team plays well, we win. If he plays bad, we lose. It's pretty much what it
You
comes
you
down
pretty
to.
much live and die by Josh Allen.
Yeah. So and he doesn't get too much help from his offensive line. I've tried to trade for offensive linemen. I've tried to have offensive linemen, and it does not work. And that's like I've seen a lot of the guys who have like superstar, they'll get their O lineman to like 95 overall.
Yeah.
But like I cannot. I focus trading my offensive line for 2 seasons straight, and they got like maybe one or two upgrade the piece. So I just abandoned that last season. Like it wasn't worth it.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
the last few games, the game against Bucks, that was a heartbreaker. But Allen played outside the last 2 minutes of the game, not even the last 50 seconds of the game. Allen played really well. I think over 300 yards passing, a couple touchdowns, and maybe a rushing touchdown, or maybe
hmm
yeah, I think so. And then last week against Titans, he played really well. I think same thing, over 300 yards, couple passing. I think actually, let me check. Yeah, 2 rushing touchdowns. So he's been hot as of late. Hopefully we can try on this last little stretch of the season, keep it going. Defensively, I try to bolster my secondary as much as possible, just because like a lot of guys in the league, they go after the pass rush, which is definitely needed at 100%. But I feel I just my thinking is you want to force turnovers, and the best way to do that is to pick the ball off, flip the field. It's a huge momentum swing. If you can pick the ball off, get yourself a good field position, get some points out of it, it's a killer. So when you have a guy like Edmonds, you have guys like Hyde and Amos when he was healthy, and then Octavius Morgan, who was my like 7th round draft pick a couple years back, who's now an 89 overall, with really good stats. I'm really happy how he's turned out. Um, Same thing with Myrick. I've been Devin Myrick since season 1, so really happy how they've turned out, and they've been playing pretty well. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like my only real pass rusher right now is Justin Houston. He's been huge just because outside of him, I can't really get to the quarterback. Um, so having that pass rush just helps the DBs, and the having the good coverage helps the pass rusher. So it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, I was taking a look at your defense. Um, I mean, Jabari Ellis, does he earn any playing time? I mean, he's 6'3", almost 300 pounds, but he's got 78 speed with 91 acceleration. He's got pretty solid power moves and good strength. Does he see the field a little more than Carlos Dunlap? I mean, Dunlap's injured. Does he also play over Jerry Hughes?
I try to get Ellis in like pass rush situations that like a DT.
hmm
Um, but I don't really have him in like for run, like just in like a second down situation, anything but like a pass situation really, just because he's not very good against the run.
Yep.
Um, he's not horrible, but Dunlap just plays a lot better. Even Hughes doesn't play great, but Dunlap plays really well against the run. Same as Houston, so I'm not gonna sub either one of them out. But yeah, so I try to get him in for a few pass-up situations, but he's not the starter yet. He still has a lot of deving to do. I should be doing content to get him up, but I just haven't
Yeah, he seems like
been
a
on that.
solid piece for sure on the defensive line. I see you got a nice little project piece in corner as well. If you really wanted to, Trey Brown, 94 speed, 94 acceleration, 96 agility.
Yeah, I signed him. I had like 3 corners on my roster early in the season, just because, like you said, like just an athletic guy who like maybe dev. And yeah, that's pretty much what he's there for, just so I can kind of dev him. I haven't really like gone into trying to get content to get him up, but he has the physical stats. And every once in a while, I'll stick him in at like a safety or even in like the nickel. I'll put him in a slot just to get him on the field. But as of right now, like my 1 and 2 for corner are pretty set. And then if I do have a corner in the nickel, it's usually Julius. But a lot of times I'll just play a safety in there.
Hmm.
I really like Mosley and Stevens. They play really well. In particular, Mosley played really well during preseason, but during the season, Stevens has he played really well too. So I like both of them. So I'll put them in the slot a lot.
Yeah.
They can come down and play the run pretty well uh, too, more than Brown or Julius would. So yeah, I just felt like no, they're not on the field too much, just to mix things up every once in a while.
And you got another another good little piece too in Rashawn Gary. He was actually a defensive end. You switched him to the middle of your defense. Try to get a little more pass rush in the middle. What was the idea there?
Um, well, just because at the time, last season in particular, I was real thin at DT. Outside of I had Houston and I had Hughes on the edges, and then I also had a few other guys who were trying dev. But DT, I didn't have Darius, and my starters were Harrison Phillips and Stylo Tulare. So I needed somebody in the middle, and Gary was big enough to hold his own. He was a small DT, but he's big enough to hold his own. I was hoping to kind of dev him up a little bit with
Hmm.
starting playing time. He didn't get too well, especially because just a normal dev. But he didn't play horribly, and now he just kind of again kind of like Ellis. I try to get him in pass rush situations, like in a over like someone like Harrison Phillips, who plays really well in a run but isn't the best for the pass. So I'll try to put him in a pass rush situation, or when somebody's tired, I'll put Rashawn Gary in.
Yeah, it seems like a good move, especially when you were up against it last season. You should have probably used some of those trade chips for a defensive lineman instead of Jarvis Landry when you're pretty much stacked at wide receiver. I'm taking a look at your wide receivers. Shedrick Jackson, you mentioned you switched him from running back to wide receiver. Um, why'd you switch him over, and are you kind of regretting that now that Marlon Mack and both Kareem Hunt are down?
What time I switched him at the beginning of the season before I didn't really know what I want to do at wide receiver. Like I knew I wanted Debo and Landry to be the starters, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do if I wanted Van Jefferson to play or if I wanted Shedrick Jackson to play and try and dev him. I ultimately decided on Van Jefferson, but at the time I was still just flip flopping back and forth, so I was playing receiver, just messing around, and at that time I had a really loaded running back room. I had Kareem Hunt, I had Marlon Mack, I had Damian Harris still, who ended up moving to fullback, but I still had him at running back at the time. And I also had another little product that ended up cutting, Trey Regis or Regas, I don't know. He had like 94 speed or 95 speed, so I was just messing with a few different things. And Shedrick Jackson hasn't really been used this season, but maybe to come playoffs he might get some playing time. Just I have a really deep wide receiver room right now, so that's just why he hasn't been used. Between Conley, Switzer, and Kelly are all in front of him. I'm not in love with Switzer, but uh, it's even without that, it's still just a really deep room, so he doesn't gotta feel too much, if at all.
And speaking of your deep room, you were talking about how you were up against the cap, which is not going to be good news in a couple years when you have to re-sign somebody like Debo Samuel. How do you see yourself, and I think you got to re-sign Josh Allen this offseason. So you are up against it. Like, what are you gonna do to make sure that you could keep Josh Allen and also be competitive with your guys? Like, is there some pieces that you could move, or some pieces you could cut this offseason to really free up cap space, even though you don't want to? Um, what's going on there?
So yeah, this offseason actually, I got a few contracts coming off the books. Like I'm pretty sure Jerry Hughes comes off the book this year. That's a uh pretty solid contract that comes off. Josh Allen's actually already re-signed. That's why
Oh, he's re-signed
Josh
already.
Allen and
Good.
Tremaine Edmonds and Josh Allen are both re-signed. So that's kind of why I'm in such cap hell. As you can imagine, Tremaine Edmonds wants a really big deal.
Oh yeah.
Which he got. I didn't question that. Yeah, between that deal, Adrian Amos's deal, I didn't really have much cap to work with, but we got them all signed. Jarvis Landry's another contract, which is coming to. I think he has 2 years left on his deal. But by that time, Deebo Samuel will be up for a deal. Yeah, 2 years left on his deal. I can cut him at any time though, and I'll get a little under 10 mil cap space from his deal. But he's
Yeah,
a great player. I would never cut him.
he's got zero penalty right now. So cutting him, I don't think you would run into any
Yeah,
trouble. Um,
if if I could trade him, that'd be the ideal scenario. Especially like that's part of the reason why I wanted to develop a receiver like Van Jefferson or Cedric Jackson because after the season, if all goes well, Van Jefferson will be a lot higher overall, due to awards, etc. So, I would be able to move on from Jarvis Landry and wouldn't see a
mhm.
huge decline in production or just overall offense with a guy like Van Jefferson stepping up, and then that that clears up another spot in the room for a guy like Cedric Jackson or a rookie. I have a couple picks this year in the draft, higher picks, and if I trade Jarvis Landry, that might even be another one. So, um, we're gonna try to do some moves to free up some cap space.
Yeah, you're gonna have to jump through some hoops to really figure out that cap space. One more thing before I let you go. You're kind of in a playoff race. How do you see it unfolding for yourself, and how do you like your chances and all that?
Um, the I think probably the best thing that happened this season was losing to the Bucks, just because I was playing real lackadaisical. I didn't really care that much, and that loss, I don't know why, just kind of just like what the hell am I doing? Just like playing like an idiot. Like and for being one of the top users in the league, I like Bucks being one of the top users in the league. I hung in there all game. I was winning until the last 50 seconds, and then I blew that game. And so, I don't know, just the past week or so, I just have been, as I said in the chat earlier, Sean McDermott said that we're dialed in. We're gonna try to close the season real strong. 4 divisional games in the next 5 weeks, so that's real big. And I think just having the experience within the division, I think we definitely are capable of running the table. Um, face a, and if we run the table against Dolphins and Jets, that's gonna all but guarantee us the division. So if we can, even if we drop a game or two, I'm confident that uh, we can make the playoffs here. And as long as everyone stays healthy, I think we can make some noise in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's all about making it to the dance, and then after that, You just let it go ahead and hope let it unleash during the playoffs and kind of show your real self. Kind of like what the Eagles, I think the Eagles plan is with Terry McLaurin. Um, but yeah, that's gonna do it for the league video. Hopefully, the part one uploads. If not, I think I'm just gonna roll with part two and call it a day because part one was pretty damn long, and it would suck to have to do that all over again. Um, but you gave us your team breakdown, so I think that's good content enough, and you kind of gave us a little rundown of your cap situation, which could hinder your ability, your team building ability. You might have to rely on younger guys, cheaper guys, just good athletic guys that don't have the stats, because you got somebody like Adrian Amos, Tremaine Edmonds, and Josh Allen all have respectable careers and need the most of the most when it comes to the money. Adrian Amos, you kind of spent a lot when he was a free agent. I'm not gonna say it wasn't worth it because it certainly was, but it definitely put you in a little situation a few years down the road, which you probably could have saw when you had Josh Allen and Tremaine Edmonds both coming up in contracts.
Definitely. Yeah, so he's been great, but definitely paying. So it's gonna be interesting next couple of years.
Oh yeah, it's definitely gonna take some magic tricks, even though we only got a couple seasons left, so you could kind of hold your hat on that you'll be just fine. Um, but like I said, it's been a great video. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for discussing this stuff with me. Hopefully, when I end this video, the other part one uploads with part two, so we don't have to have a half a video instead of a full one. Um, but like I said, great having you. Thank you for turning on your mic when it comes to the party chat so people could hear you. I apologize for my shitty internet this midnight morning. But that's just about gonna do it for us. Is there anything else you want to add?
Nah, I think I'm all good. Fuck the Pats.
Fuck the Pats,
And
exactly.
fuck the Bruins.
Oh, bro, don't go that far. They're gonna win the cup this year.
I would hate that, but it's probably gonna happen. So
Yeah, I mean, starts Monday. Make sure you tune in. I'll be
I'll
in the
be,
chat talking to you about it. Uh, but
yeah,
y-
I'll
but
be
yeah,
awesome.
but yeah, that's gonna do it for our video. This is Nefarious. That was Entrenched Campers. It's been a pleasure talking to you guys, and I hope you enjoyed.